Wizard101 is kinda boring. At its core, it's a somewhat rigid exploration game with a turn-based card game as a combat system. The thing is, the world isn't particularly beautiful or immersive. Exploration quests are often repetitive and simply require you to run in circles picking up obviously placed items, and although there are hundreds of unique cards you can use during combat, it's almost always more efficient to spam the same 2 or 3. Yet, in spite of this, the game was one of the most popular MMOs of the 2000s. And while some of that may be due to the decreased standards in gaming back then, and the fact that most of us were kids, I can't help but feel like the game itself had something to do with it. Honestly, I'm willing to go as far as to say that the somewhat mundane gameplay was pivotal in Wizard101's commercial success. There's a psychological phenomenon known as the IKEA effect. Yes, like the store with the meatballs. It describes that people value self-assembled products more than similar products they didn't assemble, regardless of the quality of their assembly. An important distinction with the IKEA effect, though, is that the efforts need to be complete in order for people to overvalue the result, meaning that people will overvalue a completed self-made furniture project, but not one that was abandoned halfway through. The general principle behind the IKEA effect is that we value things we successfully create more than what is given to us by others. And I'm willing to argue that this applies to more than just physical objects. In fact, I think that the IKEA effect applies to experiences too, in particular, our experiences with video games. See, if you're gonna have a good time playing a video game, you need to put effort in. Whether it be by trying really hard to win the game, or trying really hard to make fun of your mates while you all are losing the game, effort is fundamental to creating a meaningful experience. The thing is, not all video games require equal effort to enjoy. For example, the adrenaline rush from playing an FPS like COD makes the game easy to enjoy. Yes, the intense gameplay can be exhausting, but you don't have to work very hard to immerse yourself in the game. The fast-paced nature of COD does that for you. Closer to the other end of the spectrum, we have a slow-paced, sandbox exploration game like Minecraft. There is much less adrenaline here, unless you're in a dark cave with no armor, or see a creeper crawling around your base. Regardless, Minecraft requires you to flex your creative muscles to enjoy the game. Whether it's by building unique structures or finding new ways to automate using redstone, having a meaningful experience requires effort, and thus, the game is more rewarding. To the tune of 350 million copies sold worldwide, this is the gaming manifestation of the IKEA effect. So where does Wizard101 fall in this spectrum? Well, the game is much slower than Minecraft, especially that turn-based combat system. And while players are free to run around different worlds, once they unlock and pay for them, outside of doing specifically programmed quests, there isn't much to do. While Minecraft's setting is very open and real-world-like, Wizard101 feels much more caged, and you're regularly reminded that you're playing a video game. What I'm getting at here is that Wizard101 is much less immersive and thus harder to enjoy than Minecraft. But harder to enjoy doesn't mean impossible. The game has lovely voice acting, goofy characters, and if you're willing to be a little less efficient, you can get pretty creative with the combat system. Personally, I'm a fan of summoning a minion and screaming at him when he spends 4 turns teabagging the enemies instead of hitting them. My point is, Wizard101's gameplay is mundane but redeemable, and if you can find a way to enjoy the game, it can be far more rewarding than a game like Minecraft. A crazy sounding statement, I know, but it's consistent with my personal experience. Some of my fondest gaming memories are of me screaming at my sister because she forgot to put Feint in her deck, or spamming Leech in text chat whenever someone joined our battles last second, or winning a tournament using only Insane Bolts back when using the card meant gambling with your life. All incredibly rewarding experiences that were created by my own effort in a game that was otherwise rather dull. And I think this is why so many people have a strong nostalgic pull to the game. They're attracted to the memories they created when they were younger. Of course, there's a huge downside to the create your own fun style of game. Engaging yourself with a game that isn't naturally engaging takes a great deal of energy. In my middle and high school years, I didn't touch the game during the school year. All my core memories came during the summer, when I had the mental bandwidth to create a meaningful experience. It's a bit of a rich get richer kind of situation. If times are good, you have energy and creativity to spare, allowing for Wizard101 to be an incredible experience. But if times are tough, you're definitely better off playing one of the new Zelda games or COD. So yeah, Wizard 101 is kinda boring, but that's what's made it one of the best games I've ever played. So shout out to KingsIsle for that. Or, well, actually no. Shout out to us Wizheads for that, because technically, we did most of the work.